Hello friends, welcome to ELS English Literature Studies with Kaur Harpreet. Today I will discuss comic element in Dr. Faustus. In my previous video I have discussed what is comic element or what is comic relief, and I have given features there, and today I will discuss this particular topic in Dr. Faustus, right? So let's get started. Dr. Faustus. It is a story based on an earlier German legend about a scholar, Dr. Faustus, right, whose thirst for knowledge is endless. After learning everything, he learned everything from the books, but he becomes a master scientist also. Even then, he is not satisfied, and he makes an agreement with the devil to be granted infinite knowledge at the cost of his soul, right? Dr. Faustus was an incredibly popular and controversial work in Marlowe's time. It was normal in contemporary culture to criticize religion in the name of rationality, and no one prior to Marlowe had the, had the sheer audacity to address these problematic aspects of the relationship between human rationality and religion. And because of criticism, no one before Marlowe has addressed this issue with this level of insight, right? His example would inspire not only other English writers adopting the Faust legend, but even German authors. They were also inspired by him, and generations of German poets, among them and the 20th century German novelists, would all owe a conscious debt to Marlowe's these pithy and probing tale, right? And in Marlowe's famous play Dr. Faustus, there are 14 scenes in all. Out of them, there are 5 or 6 comic scenes. And according to the critics, the comic elements in these scenes are low and vulgar. They are full of coarse buffoonery, and they cannot be accepted as organic parts of the tragic play, right? Now, question arises: what is the need to introduce such low and vulgar scenes? Why? What is the need to write down or introduce these scenes? The answer is that the comic episodes in dramatic or serious plays, they perform some definite functions. They provide comic relief, throw additional light on the meaning of the tragic action, and they present a contrasting point of view, right? In every tragedy, the dramatist, he endeavors to give relief to the audience by introducing these comic scenes time to time. And the literary term which is used for these is known as comic relief. According to them, the comic elements in the scenes are low and vulgar. And another point is that why these are introduced, because there was also, this was a need of the Elizabethan audience for such interludes. Hence, playwrights had to introduce such scenes for the success of the play, right? जो playwrights they have to write उनकी ये play के success के लिए. First is that these are introduced because of the एंटरटेनमेंट ऑफ द ऑडियंस. जितनी भी उनको स्ट्रेस होता था इस ट्रेजिक प्ले को पढ़ते हुए, दे वांट टू गिव वी कैन से रिलीफ. एंड सेकंड इज कि ये एलिजाबेथन ऑडियंस की उस टाइम पे नीड थी. दे वांटेड टू इंट्रोड्यूस सच कॉमिक सीन्स इन द प्ले, और जो प्ले राइट्स थे वो अपने प्ले की सक्सेस के लिए इसको इंट्रोड्यूस करते थे. Then these comic interludes may have an appropriate emotional connection in the development of the tragic play. The art of tragic relief, especially in its former aspect, found its supreme artistic excellence in the drama of Shakespeare, and this art of tragic relief was also followed by Marlowe to achieve the same purpose, right? And these scenes are, we can say, in the tradition of crude native comedy, and the native comedy had to wait for the genius of Shakespeare to make these comic scenes an integral part of tragedy, right? Let us now take these scenes one by one and discuss their quality and significance also. Christopher Marlowe's Dr. Faustus is recognized as one of the masterpieces of English drama. This play undoubtedly belongs to the tragic play, especially the tragic history of Dr. Faustus himself, whose soul is carried off to his eternal damnation by devils at the end of the play. The first witty episode in the play can be seen in the conversation between Wagner, the boy servant of Dr. Faustus, and the two scholars who inquire if his master is at home. Wagner is a fun-loving person and he indulges in a bit of light-hearted talk with the scholars. He argues with them in the learned manner which he has picked up from his master from Foster's discussion with fellow scholars, right? Wagner इस वे में बात करता था जैसे उसने अपने मास्टर से सीखा था, जो मैनर उसने अपने मास्टर से सीखा था कि कैसे किसी के साथ डिस्कशन करते हैं, उसी सेम वे में वैगनर ने वो जो दो स्कॉलर्स आए थे उनसे इंक्वायरी की. ही प्लेस अपॉन वर्ड्स एंड ट्राइज टू बेफल द टू स्कॉलर्स हु हैव आस्क्ड हिम अ सिंपल क्वेश्चन, राइट. Next, he tries to be fool the clown, who is a typical Elizabethan character, for whom he feels a genuine sympathy. The clown is unemployed and is not only semi-naked but semi-starved also. Wagner does the funny trick to be fool the clown, and however the clown knows the value of his soul and would not part with it at a low price. Likewise, the clown declines Wagner's offer of a few coins because he would not like to become Wagner's slave. However, Wagner tries to browbeat the clown by summoning two devils with magic words which he has picked up from Foster's magic books and frightens the clown. ये जो Foster's का बॉय सर्वेंट है वो क्या करता है कि पहले एक तो वो जो टू स्कॉलर्स आते हैं उनके साथ ऐसे बिहेव करता है जैसे डॉक्टर फॉस्टर्स करता है, राइट. और सेकेंडली वो जो क्लाउन आता है उसको बी फूल करता है और वो चाहता है कि उसको मैजिक की तरह किसी भी तरह कैप्चर कर ले, उसकी सोल को कैप्चर कर ले. बट क्लाउन इज़ नॉट रेडी टू लिसन टू हिम बिकॉज ही नोज दैट हिज सोल इज़ वेरी प्रेशियस, और वो कुछ कॉइन्स के लिए उसके अंडर नहीं रहना चाहता, उसका स्लेव पूरी ज़िंदगी के लिए नहीं बनना चाहता, राइट. और वो जैसे उसको डराता है, धमकाता है, वो उसने फॉस्टर्स की मैजिक बुक से कुछ वर्ड सीखे हैं जिससे वो क्लाउन को डराने की कोशिश करता है, राइट. नेक्स्ट कॉमिक सीन इज लेड इन द चैम्बर ऑफ द पोप इन रोम वेयर फॉस्टर्स प्लेस ट्रिक्स ऑन द पोप. In Pope's court, Dr. Foster shows his funny tricks to the guests. He asks Mephistopheles to make him invisible so that he can play a few tricks on the Pope, who is at a feast in the company of Cardinal of Lorraine. Foster's plays childish pranks on Pope's dishes and drinks from the hands of the Pope, much to the Pope's dismay, right? वो उसके ऊपर पॉप के ऊपर बहुत सारी ट्रिक्स खेलता है और उसके जो गेस्ट हैं वो फीस्ट पे आए होते हैं, पॉप के मना करने के बाद भी वो बच्चों जैसे चाइल्डिश प्रैंक्स करता है, बच्चों जैसी हरकतें करता है, उसकी डिशेस और उसके ड्रिंक्स उसके हाथ से ले लेता है, जबकि पॉप इस चीज़ को लेके बहुत ही एंग्री होता है, राइट. Foster then goes so far as to hit the Pope on his ear. Under the orders of Pope, the friars perform a ritual whereby they call down a curse on the sinner who has had the we can say courage to offend the Pope. At the end of this ceremony, Mephistopheles and Faustus beat the friars and throw fireworks among them, right? एंड में वो क्या करते हैं, दोनों Mephistopheles and Faustus उनको जो फ्रायर्स हैं उनको हरा देते हैं and they throw fireworks among them to celebrate their success, right? The next comic scene, which seems to have no connection with the main theme of the play, is seen in Act 4, Scene 2, in which the comic characters Robin and Rolf, they play with magic power that Robin has learned from Foster's magic books. Now what they do, Robin and Ralph, they drink at a wine bar and they steal a silver wine cup from there, right? Friends, we have seen 7 deadly sins also, and that is very very important from the examination point of view. That will be discussed as a separate question in my upcoming video. So coming to this topic, I was talking about Robin and Rolf who drink at a wine bar and they steal a silver wine cup from there. The barman chases them and demands the wine cup from them. Robin pretends to be very offended with the barman being accused of theft. Robin को बहुत गुस्सा आता है, वो अपना बहुत गुस्सा शो करता है कि बारमैन उनसे उनके वाइन कप्स पूछ रहा है और जो बारमैन है वो क्या शो करना चाहता है कि हम चोर हैं, हमारे ऊपर चोरी का इल्ज़ाम लगाया जा रहा है. द बारमैन सर्च प्रूव्स फ्यूटाइल. right? And the barman then turns to Ralph, who also scolds the barman for having accused honest man of theft. And the barman does not find the wine cup even on Ralph, though he's sure, वो barman, he is sure that one of these two men has got that silver cup, right? Then we have a touch of comedy when Faustus makes a pair of horns grow on the head of a knight who has been rude to him. Then he removes horns at the request of the emperor. And the last comic scene of humor is seen in Act 4, Scene 4, in which Faustus encounters a horse dealer who comes and he offers $40 for Faustus' horse. Faustus demands $50 for the horse. Faustus डिमांड करता है $50 की, लेकिन जो हॉर्स डीलर है वो $40 पे डील को डन करता है. एंड द हॉर्स डीलर प्लीड्स that he has only $40 with him, and Faustus accepts this we can say agreement or accepts the $40, but warns the horse dealer that he should never ride the horse into water. वो $50 की जगह $40 पे Faustus मान जाता है अपने हॉर्स डीलिंग के लिए, और वो उसको एक वार्निंग देता है कि वो अपने हॉर्स को कभी भी पानी में नहीं लेके जाएगा, राइट? But the horse dealer thinks that he has made a very good bargain and he hopes that he will make a good living by the horse, but the horse becomes a bundle of hay after the horse dealer, disregarding Faustus' advice, rides it into water, right? उसकी advice जो थी उसको disregard करते हुए, उसको ना सुनते हुए वो क्या करता है, उसको पानी में ले जाता है, and the horse becomes a bundle of hay. Now the horse dealer, he looks for Dr. Faustus in order to get his money back. But when the horse dealer arrives in Faustus' house, Faustus is asleep and should not be disturbed. अब वो एक नई ट्रिक करता है यहाँ पे डॉक्टर Faustus, that is also comic scene. वो क्या ट्रिक है, जब वो हॉर्स डीलर उसके पास जाता है तो Faustus pretend करता है दैट he is asleep and he should not be disturbed, and Faustus again plays comic trick that he uses his black art to make the comedy. The horse dealer, anxious to recover his money, वो इतना ज़्यादा anxious है कि उसको अपनी मनी वापस चाहिए, बिकॉज उसके जो $40 थे वो बिल्कुल पानी में चले गए, उनका बहुत सारा नुकसान हो गया. He shouts in Faustus' ears to wake him up, right? When Faustus does not move, the horse dealer pulls him by his leg, and it so happens that the leg is dislodged from Faustus' body. उसकी बॉडी से उसकी टांग अलग हो जाती है. Later on, Faustus he begins to cry at the loss of his leg and asks Mephistopheles to call the police. And जब वो पुलिस को बुलाने के लिए कहता है और जब उसकी टांग उसके बॉडी से अलग हो जाती है, जो हॉर्स डीलर है वो और डर जाता है, और पुलिस के नाम से तो और उसको डरा दिया जाता है, तो वो हॉर्स डीलर क्या होता है वहाँ से भाग जाता है. एंड उस Faustus उससे क्या करता है $40 और ले लेता है एज अ कंपनसेशन. Faustus उसे कहता है कि मेरी टांग तोड़ने के लिए मुझे $40 और चाहिए, अदरवाइज आई विल कॉल पुलिस. और जो हॉर्स डीलर होता है $40 और पे करता है, बजाय कि अपने $40 लेने के वो और पे करता है, और वहाँ से he runs away from there, right? Now Faustus feels happy that he has tricked the horse dealer into parting with another $40, right? And at the last, I would like to conclude by saying this, that these comic episodes, which are part of Faustus' tricks, including his pranks on the Pope and the friars, the planting of a pair of horns on the head of a knight, and the cheating of a greedy horse dealer, all these we can say have a moral significance, and they do not possess any organic plot-wise significance, right? They just throw light on the nature of the tragedy of Dr. Faustus, who sell his soul to the devil in his foolish bid to become a deity on the earth. But he actually gained degradation and not exaltation out of his damnation. वो जो इसकी थर्स्ट ऑफ नॉलेज थी उसको ख़त्म करने के लिए वो और बहुत सारी बुक्स पढ़ना शुरू कर दिया, और उसके साथ साथ उसने मैजिक बुक्स पढ़नी शुरू कर दी. और जब वो मैजिक बुक्स पढ़ी उसको अब मन होता था ही वांट्स टू बिकम अ डाइटी ऑन द अर्थ. वो इस अर्थ को भी कहीं ना कहीं उसके मन में था कि मैं इसको भी जानूँ, भगवान क्या है इसके ऊपर कैप्चर करूँ. एंड वो सारी चीज़ें उसको कुछ नहीं गेन हुआ, बट उसको what he actually gained, he gained degradation, right? And these comic episodes involving Wagner and the clown in the first half of the play, then we have Robin and Ralph in the second, they form a sort of comic underplot to the tragic main plot, opposing the comic view to tragedy. And these two points of view taken together present a balanced picture of life. But the effect is unfortunate in Dr. Faustus, right? The comic underplot is neither continuous nor is it artistically integrated with the main plot. And the tragic motive, the deliberate choice of damnation by Dr. Faustus for superhuman power, is exceptional. And the comic underplot parodies the action and cast of the main plot, throwing ironical light upon the variety of human pride and human aspiration. ये सारा उसमें कवर करता है कि जो ह्यूमन प्राइड, वैरायटी ऑफ ह्यूमन प्राइड क्या होती है और ह्यूमन एस्पिरेशंस क्या होती हैं, और एंड में उस वो एस्पिरेशंस उसको कहाँ ले जाती है, राइट? There is a contrast of tragic and comic elements. Faustus aspired for eternal knowledge and power to parallel to God. At the end, he becomes worse than man, and spending his years in feasting and lechery, he exploits his bargain no better than Robin, who could sell his soul for roasted mutton, right? And the scene's main concern is the comic. Underneath, they help realize Faustus' tragic deterioration also. So, friends, this is all about today's topic. I hope you will like the content, and if you like it, please hit the like button for moral support, and if you know my channel, please hit the bell button so that you can get notifications for my upcoming videos, and also share and subscribe my channel. Thanks a lot for watching.